So Lavert, if you want to just talk a little bit about what has been done, why it's important, and where we are right now and where we might be able to go.
In terms of what's been done, and Marvin and others trace great and accurate history in terms of how we got from where we were to where we are today. You know, it's interesting. I actually started out working with Bishop H. Hartford Brookins, who was trying to build the port at the old port site for Quindaro. And that was before the AME Church got involved in discussions with BFI. And when BFI came along and I advised Bishop Brookins, I was stepping away and did. I came back into the project later after BFI went away. And there had been much progress by the time I stepped in terms of preserving the ruined site. But we needed to show some improvements in the area to build some momentum. And so that's how I got involved, initiated some things with the unified government in the city. Because people ask, as Director of Development, how do you get involved in preserving history, et cetera, et cetera? And my job was pretty loose, so I could define my own role. But you know, I'll start out with a couple of questions. How many of you know, and you heard Larry Haynes describe the ownership for the Quindaro area. Basically, two owners, the unified government and the AME Church. But for the overlook, and of course, I was involved in bringing about the overlook. How many of you know whose land that sits on? And it's interesting because to make progress and to keep things going, you have to be innovative and creative. I am not a historian, and my Uncle Warren would tell you that, trying to pull me into that area. I'm not an archivist or an archaeologist. And so you have to have general knowledge about things. I am a technician. And when we needed to get some things moving, I used my technical skills to try to overcome some of the problems in the area to move things forward. And when you see the brew house kind of restored, and that was because of the Save Our America's Treasures grant. When you see the overlook, and the overlook looks down on the main, if you will, ruins for the area. And I asked the question earlier, where and whose ground does the overlook sit on? As a technician, you have to find ways, because as we were pursuing this, went through 2 congressional reviews because of complaints, went through 2 Inspector General reviews because of complaints, and wanted to get things done to make sure we didn't hamper any chances to get the designations the area needs. So we selected a site for the overlook so that no one could question whether or not we were tampering with ruins. We actually put the overlook on the right-of-way for Kansas Avenue. And that way, no one could interfere, and even the Landmarks Commission had to scratch its head and say, well, do we have reviews as a historical area? We needed to get this done quickly, but by putting it in the right-of-way, we were able to avoid a lot of scrutiny. And so I bring that up to point out that to overcome some of the challenges you have for projects like this, you have to be innovative and creative and find the technical skills to make things and move things forward. How many of you know that there are steps now going down to the ruins? And it's interesting, we have so many stories about trying to move things forward. The steps going down to the ruins initially was projected to cost over $200,000 just for the steps. My staff and I argued about it. We were able to get those steps built for $30,000. The overlook was built, and with all unified government money, it was Craig Watson had designed the overlook initially, and the bids on that came in at over $500,000. Craig Watson also designed the archival building. I'm sure Ms. Bailey may talk about that for the area. And of course, we're still trying to find money to build an archival building. But we were able to get the overlook built to steps with 80% black and minority labor. 80%. And so, that was, we thought for this area that should be an objective, and we were able to achieve that objective. There's a lot of history. We also pursued improvements to the old Quindaro Cemetery. Brought about some acrimony and some friction over what we inscribed on the monument that described the improvements. We were able to get beyond that. And so, I view this area as a project brought on by, if you will, conflicted people. And because of that, we have we've achieved progress, but through acrimony. And in my opinion, we've got to find a way to continue to work together to continue the improvements. I like to take baby steps in terms of moving forward. Interpretive signage for the ruins, that's a must. Someone asked earlier about preserving the trails and removing the brush in a manner that preserves the ruin or doesn't damage the ruins. Patty Banks, who's a noted historical architect, did a trail system plan for that area. That plan is still out there as well. And so, in terms of baby steps, the trail system and the interpretive signage is a must. Because it's going to take a little while to do some of the things that we know is going to cost a lot of money. Building the archival building, making other improvements, finding other ruins, etc. But we should be able to take some of these baby steps as we move along the way. So I don't know